Hi everybody, this video is sponsored by contribution from Allie, and here's her story. Hi Allie, I'm resending you this story with a contribution. It's not much, but I hope it will help in some ways. I thank you, it's thank you enough for the videos. It has certainly given me some form of help as I am in recovery stage. I subscribed to your channel not too long ago and listen to your videos every morning and at night before I go to bed because this has helped me become stronger and stronger each day. Thank you for what you are doing. I believe that it has not only helped me but many others in different ways too. I hope you're able to give me any form of advice or comment on what I should do at this point in time. I hope this isn't too long. Here is my story. I am from a certain part in Asia, Singapore, and I grew up with abuse as a kid by my dad. He would not only abuse me physically, but anyone in my family except my sister. But that is another story. Later on in adulthood, I was married to an abuser who broke my rib cage, and I lived with his family for 2 years with consent, with constant verbal and physical abuse. I lived in fear for a while, and when I finally had enough strength, I got a protection order and divorced him. He came back to me for a while, but I refused to deal with him. It's been 6 years of no contact and going good so far. After all that, I stayed single for a while, and I must admit I was happy until I went through this. I recently dated a guy from Italy. Of course, the story is similar to most. He was charming, ever so perfect for me, and a dream come true. But as time went on, things became strange. I met him on Facebook in November 2014 through some mutual friends. I was planning my first trip to Italy and wanted to know how many people as possible, know as many people as possible. Everyone I know, including him, knew that Italy was my dream. I wanted to live and work there. As time went on, we got to know each other, and he at that point had just broken up with his then girlfriend, and his dad had cancer. He was confiding in me, and I gave him emotional support. I also had told him about my abuse with my ex-husband, and he felt sorry for me. But I realized he had used it against me and displayed the same treatment after a while. By April 2015, we were already on Skype talking to each other every other day, each other every day. He even told me that I am his girlfriend on What's Up, even before we met in person. I found it strange but brushed it aside. We even Skyped with his mother and everything was well. Him and his family was just waiting for my arrival. So in July 2015, I flew up to Italy where we had made plans to bring me around. We spent 2 weeks together. On the very first day in Milan, we went to a sushi restaurant and he suddenly cried because he thought of his father and the cancer. When I asked at what stage his father's cancer was, he couldn't say. I hope this doesn't turn out that he's making up the father's cancer, but it's typical with narcissists. Then he went to the bathroom, washed up, and he came back and everything was normal again. His emotions changed completely from sad to happy in just a few minutes. I didn't know how to react, but a thought came into my mind that I hope isn't some weirdo. Moving on from this, the trip went on well until we were in Tuscany. He suddenly told me that he cannot continue with this relationship anymore. I was caught off guard and asked for what reasons, but he wouldn't tell me. I remained silent the entire drive to his city where he kept asking me to speak to him. I was confused, but I didn't want to play games. When we arrived home, I told him that it's okay and we don't have to continue this, and I could get a hotel somewhere to continue my trip alone. He came forth to hug and kiss me, but I refused and stepped back. At this point, he burst out, loudly wailing and crying like a little boy. I was caught off guard again at this behavior, but at the same time, I felt sorry for him, so I comforted him. He then spoke about his past relationships and continued crying. Oh God, please don't tell me I've been hurt before. Please don't tell me he's setting me up for I've been hurt before. It was too much for me, and I was too tired by that time. Eventually, I fell asleep. The next day, he made breakfast for me, and he continued crying as he continued to speak of his past. I didn't have the appetite to eat, just wanted to leave the place, but he spoke of us and decided to make this relationship work, being long distance and all. Following this, we went to his parents' home. They were ever so loving, kind, and wonderful people. He remembered the little details of what I like to eat and got his mom to prepare a very satisfying meal. I loved them so much as they loved me. He then brought me to meet his friends, and we had a good time. We stayed at his parents for a few days, and things went really well. When we got back to his apartment, however, he suddenly became agitated, mumbling that he had lost some money. He had a fanny pack that he carried around and said that this had never happened in his life before. Oh, so it must be your fault. He has had many people stay in his home, but never had money missing. And then he turned to me asking if I had taken the money. It was a rude shock, and I was angry, of course, because I remembered that he had hid some money in his showcase before, and I told him to check. At this point, I felt very uncomfortable, and I told him that I wanted to leave. I raised my voice a little and told him that I was not raised in this way by my parents. I told him to check before accusing me. Then he calmed down and said, okay, it's a small issue. He brought me into the bedroom and told me he wanted to make love. I refused, and he was persistent. But I had still continued to refuse because I felt disgusted. The next day was pretty normal at first. I had 2 more days left on the trip, and suddenly he had asked if I could go back a day earlier because he said he had to work. I couldn't get a flight, so he had to stay with me. On my last day, he told me he had to go to the north of Italy for work. However, will send me to the airport first. On our way, I had to go to the bathroom, and he stopped me at a gas station. When I came back, I noticed a €5 bill on my side of the car. It wasn't there before. I knew what he was up to. I took the money and said, hey, look, this money magically appeared. It wasn't here before. Is it yours? He looked at the money and went silent for a while. The rest of the journey was spent listening to music. At the airport, he said that he had to go as he was late. So I checked in, did a little bit of shopping, and then was on my way home. As soon as I reached Singapore, I found out that he had not gone to work in the north, but to a summer festival with his ex-girlfriend and some friends. When I asked, he said they were just friends. From there, I found out many things, and I am sure he isn't done with the ex because they were always together. We had lots of arguments, and I decided to call off the relationship. He belittled me for being rejected, telling me that he didn't want me either because I didn't have a nice body, and no matter what I do, my body will never change. You see, I was overweight once, and I have lost massive weight, which he knew about and used against me. I can fairly say that I am quite all right now, although people say I am too skinny. Yeah, I hear that now too again. He also said he can't be with me because I ate too much chocolate. I laughed and told him he is crazy. That has got to be the lamest breakup reason in the history of breakups. Before he said he wants me in his life, he knows I am the one and wants to be with me always. At one point, he even suddenly said I can't be his wife. I told him we aren't even in a stable dating relationship, and it is too soon to even be speaking of marriage. He would say that I am desperate for men when he would actually go into my friend's profile on Facebook and add the women in their friends lists. I've caught him doing that. He would then proudly say he has many women adding him every day, but he has no idea who they are. Many times he would send me messages meant for other women and deny them completely. Sometimes I think it may have been done on purpose just to tell me that in triangulation. So the argument went on, and in September I told him I don't want him anymore. And he said I needed help with my Italy journey, and that will help me. He offered me to live with him until I was stabilized and would help me as much as possible. A few days later, he would say that I am depending on him for everything and that I want him to be with me all the time. When I got back in October, he tried to make amends. I fell for it. He said he would stay with me the whole 10 days, but then came up with some bullshit after that. When I got upset and told him off, he would belittle me and compare me to his ex. Don't know which one. There was a festival in Ravenna called the Golden Night. He had told me that if I bump into him and his ex-girlfriend, I shouldn't be close to him because she was jealous. I asked if he still loved her, and he said absolutely not. And I said, so what is the problem? I am your girlfriend, and she is your ex. He then continued to say she is only his friend, refusing to speak of the issue again, and sucked me into his web of manipulative facade again. In that same period, we had planned for Florence during the last 2 days of my stay there. One morning after we woke up, I had to make a call to the owner of the orange apartment, as I call it, to inform him that I would be leaving earlier than planned. As I was speaking to the owner, he wanted to make his presence known to the owner. He asked if he could touch me to distract me. I playfully said no, and he gave me a killer stare as if he wanted to kill me. He never took his eyes off me the entire conversation. As soon as I got off the phone, he says he wants to break up. I got tired of his crap and told him to shut up and fuck off. I went to the bathroom, sat in the bathtub and cried. Moments later, he came in and gave me a psychotic smile, crawled towards me in the bathtub and made sexual advances towards me. I pushed him away and told him to leave me alone, but he continued. Thoughts racing in my mind that he is a sick, twisted sexual predator, a psycho. He then pulled me up and sat me on the sink, all the while with the psychotic smile on his face. I kept pushing him away and then went into the room. I yelled, "What is wrong with you?" He smiled and hugged me. To add on to this weird behavior, on some nights that he would stay with me, he would wake up suddenly and start screaming at me. Sometimes in Italian, sometimes in English. Then he would apologize to me the next morning for this behavior. I assumed he had nightmares, but there was sometimes that he would wake up and say something, then head to the bathroom to use the hairdryer, then return to bed. I asked him one day about this behavior. He said he doesn't know why he is like this. He also said sometime in his home, he would wake up at night, run around the house looking for the person that was trying to kill him. But in fact, there was no one. When I asked who this person was that he had imagined, he said he doesn't know. It's in his dreams. These are dreams and he's sleepwalking. I've done that. He's playing out the dream in his head and now he's sleepwalking and talking at the same time. Something I do. But the sexual advances right after the crying, this is a lot like the last video I did. He's getting off. He gets off sexually on making you cry. That's why he cried for you, because that's what gets him off. He's figuring everybody gets off like that. But he figured out somehow it's hurting you and he likes that even more. So anyway, later that day, we had to meet his mother for lunch, and he pulled the same crack again about ending the relationship. I've told him I've had enough, and I needed to go home, but he didn't let me trying to make amends again. We pulled up at his uncle's place and had to pretend nothing was wrong when his uncle came out to greet us. I had to force myself to sit there with thoughts in my mind. I kept asking myself, why would he bring me to his friends and family if he wants nothing to do with me? Why would he create a strong bond between me and his parents if he does not love me or want me in his life? Because he wants you to love them and see how wonderful he is. Because he wants it to hurt every time he breaks up with you. That's why. After 30 minutes, we left and went to his friend's house as he wanted to see his sister, whom he said is able to speak with the dad. As he was talking to her, I spoke to his friend, Eugenio, about this. We were not bitching about him, but rather trying to figure out what was going on. His friend had told me that the man I'm dating, Dennis is his name, by the way, isn't normal, but said that in this time I was with Dennis, he seemed to be at his happiest state in the time that they had known each other. When I asked why he said Dennis was not normal, Eugenio said that the way Dennis thinks is different from a normal person. He wouldn't want to disclose further information, but when I got him on the phone, he told me that Dennis isn't right for me and that he doesn't love me because he loves someone else. When I asked who it was, he would not tell me. Nevertheless, I took that warning because his friend would know him better than me, right? So I decided to call off the relationship, but I knew it wasn't going to be easy. As soon as I got back to Singapore, I told him I wanted to end it. He had come up with a drama, then proceeded to block me off WhatsApp and deleted me off Facebook. I later learned that he did that because he went to Berlin to see his ex, Cynthia, whom he had belittled, by the way, on how she has a black dog or cat that she gets annoyed and irritated when the animal makes noises for food. He said he wouldn't want to be with her because if she treated an animal badly, how would she treat their child if they ever had one? So after a week, he unblocked me. I had to contact him because I wanted to get the things that I left at his place when I was there in October. I was to go up there in February, and I had to make arrangements. We spoke as normal, and he wanted me to be his friend. I refused and told him I just wanted my things. When I got there, he came by to return my things and we spoke for a bit. Asked how his dad's cancer was, and he said that his dad went for the tests, and turns out that is okay because it is a gland problem that will go away. His cholesterol level was high. I asked, so where is the cancer? But he wouldn't say. Then we would then have fights, and he would speak of his ex a lot, claiming how they are close and how she continues to annoy and harass him. I wouldn't say he couldn't stand her. He would say he couldn't stand her and how she is like a puppy constantly following him around. But he hangs out with her mostly, and in some of the pictures that he is tagged, both of them are very close and would openly flirt about sexual stuff and behave more than friends would be. He would then start an argument, of course, and I would say, well, if Cinza is your friend and if you would fuck your friends, then I don't want to be anywhere near you because it's fucking disgusting. I'm not even sure if Cinza knows all this or is just constantly being sucked into his games. Hoping things are well for them. Little would she know he is fucking a quarter of the Italian population. But that's not my problem to deal with. When I decided to leave him, he would spam me on Facebook, giving me some type of attention when I rejected him, sending me invites to events which are happening in Italy, knowing I won't be able to attend because I'm in Singapore, wanting me to text him and ask him why he had sent me those things. While I was there in February, I was also traveling to other cities and to Paris and Istanbul. And I couldn't really see him. Before I left for Istanbul, we met and hung out for a while. I don't understand at this point how many signs you need that this guy is just a fucking douchebag. I thought that maybe we could end this on a good note. While at the movies, he keeps telling me he loves me very much and that he wants me to always be in his life. I never responded to his I love yous. I just continued to watch the movie. Then in the evening, he would continue with the verbal abuse again. So after all this, I went back to Singapore and have been suffering. I fell into major depression from all the abuse and trauma he caused. I was in and out of the emergency ward 6 times and had multiple near-death situations from the medication and experience, and had continued to abuse me over and over from the text, which I still have for evidence that I am in fact telling the truth about him. When I was in Bangkok, I wrote a goodbye letter to him and his parents. To his parents, I thanked them for everything and told them that I did love their son, but I cannot understand why he's like this. I never heard from his parents till today. In the letter to him, I told him about his every behavior and made it known that it was unacceptable. He denied everything I said, and the arguments went on and on after that. I told him I never wanted to see him again, but he insisted and said he had to meet me to give me a gift. When I asked what it was, he said it was a surprise. I mean, are you 8 years old? I mean, that's what you say to an 8-year-old. By this time, I felt him being a psychopath somehow, and I would never want to see him for he may do something to me as a form of revenge. I told him to send me a picture of the gift instead, and he said I was crazy and stupid to ask such things. And when I called him out being a liar, he took a picture off the internet and sent it to me. It was a bag from Furla. I called him out again and said that he doesn't have the gift with him at the moment, as it was at his mother's. Then called me stupid and ridiculous and told me to fuck off. I still have that text from the W app. I told him that if he had the gift, pass it to my friends who are living in Italy. He did after a while. It was also at this point that he took the opportunity to tell my friends untrue things about me, that our relationship was over, and how he was scared whenever I'm in Italy. When my friends told me this, I was fuming. I laughed out at him so much and told him that before he decides to talk shit to the next person, remember that I have all the pictures and texts we had of everything he had said about me, his ex, and other people he was talking shit about. And if he tries so much to do that, I will expose him. Then he blocked me on W app and not on Facebook. How many blocks back and forth? I mean, this is childlike. This is childlike. This is how high schoolers act. I explained to my friends and showed them the messages I had with them. I told him the reason he tells them and everyone else that he's afraid of me is because that he's afraid that I will expose him, nothing more. My friend even told him when he was there that she doesn't want to speak to him because he isn't her friend and she has no business with him. The next few days, he would pop into their bed and breakfast just to check if I was there to talk shit about me again. Over the next few weeks, he started to post pictures of him and his ex-girlfriend in the room. Obviously wanting me to know they fucked and wanting a reaction from me. By this time, I've already known his games and traits. I never gave him anything. So he continued to post more and more things that he knew would tick me off. So I finally blocked him on Facebook, which definitely sent him apeshit. Amazingly, I started to receive bogus friends requests from people I don't know who live in Italy. There was one with a picture of a model. I checked the profile, and he only had 60 friends. The friends on this person's list were the same bunch of people on his friends list. I ignored it, of course. Really a hot model with only 60 friends. Oh, Dennis, try harder or stop trying. I then received some other requests from tattoo clubs in Indonesia. He knows I love tattoos. Funny thing is, this tattoo club changed the profile picture 3 hours before adding me. No friends, no feeds, no previous profile pictures. And best of all, the Indonesia gave it away. I have been through so much and am struggling to cope with the depression and trauma he has caused. The amount of time and money I lost going up and down the hospital and emergency wards was just unbearable, leading to multiple near-death situations. This is why I am unable to contribute much, but I hope it would help in some ways. I have read books, one in particular, Psychopath Free, and this book is the exact way to describe Dennis. As I read, I cried because I was reliving the entire experience again. But the benefit of this book is that it helped me understand the situation I'm in and gave me tips on how to overcome this. People in Italy, his friends and family, perhaps some of my friends too, have definitely thought of me in a bad way, thanks to his constant bitching and bad mouthing about me. If I could, I would want to let the world know who he truly is, to tell all his friends what a person he has been towards me, as he is being such a wonderful person to some of his friends. He knows I could because I have every evidence, which is why he decides to badmouth me, to tell everyone he's afraid of me. The only fear he has is from being exposed, nothing more. I know karma will hit him hard, so will hit him so hard one day. But for now, he isn't able to find me. He has no idea where I am right now. I blocked him from all means of contact, hence he can never find me anymore. I never felt so good getting the upper hand for this situation, and I am glad I have survived, although struggling and coping at some times. My best friends, family, and some people from work have been very supportive and helping me, which I am thankful for. There are people that believe me, and I am not afraid to show text and evidence I have to anyone that doubts or thinks I am the crazy one. I would also like to tell his friend Eugenio, thank you for telling me that he is only a mask of illusions and giving me the warning that he isn't a normal person. I have tried to help him in ways to understand his problems with his mind and to offer him as much comfort, understanding, and support I could possibly give, because I feel sorry for him. No one is perfect, not even myself. We all have our flaws, but if a person is capable of going about daily things, he would definitely be capable of knowing what love and hurt is, and that no one deserves to be treated in such a manner, especially when I really loved him. He will never understand that. The narcissist is incapable of understanding that or caring about that. You can't help a narcissist. You can't make a narcissist see that they're a narcissist because they know they're a narcissist. All their traits are to protect the fact of them being a narcissist, is to protect the fact of what they are and what they do in their traits. You can't help them. You trying to help them is giving them what they want. The supply and the fighting. That's what you keep giving them. The supply led by the fighting, the breakup, the crying, and that's what he gets off on. You crying. That's why he's doing all this stuff with the models and the pictures. Well, he's doing the stuff with the models because he's trying to fuck them. But he's also doing the stuff with the family and the friends, bringing you around because he wants it to hurt more. He wants you to pine after him. He wants you to cry because that's what he gets off on, because that's what gives him power. You can't help him. Stop trying to help the narcissist. I would want to ask him why he did this just to get some answers, but I don't know if that will ever happen. I just told you why he did it, because that's what he gets his enjoyment doing. That's what sustains him. That's why, because his self-esteem is so low. He knows he's a piece of shit. So seeing a woman crying in front of him for him and then being able to fuck her is his ultimate narcissistic supply. All the rest of it with the family and friends is just to make it hurt more and make you want him. So when he cuts it off, it hurts, you cry, and he gets what he wants. That's what his friend was trying to tell you. It has been a struggle every day for me, but I am taking each day at a time. I have read books and articles on the abuse to gain knowledge, and to help myself from recovery too. My friends have seen the change in me as if this huge part of my happiness and liveliness had been dissolved. They'd even told me that I have too much kindness in my heart, being able to forgive him for what he has done. It is not stupidity, but I know what it is like having so much love to give, but never having any from a father or a partner. Everyone tells me I'm so full of life and love. Oh, shit. Allergies. So anybody thinks I'm just being lazy and don't want to make videos, please understand. I suffer. Everyone tells me I'm so full of life and love, so much to give to the world, but they see a lot of sadness in my eyes too. For the people that had helped and believed in me this whole time, thank you. I am surviving this because of your constant love, support, and encouragement. I remind myself every day that this is my life and I own it. Hence, I have the power to take control of anything and situation I want that makes me happy. There will be times I will feel down, but that is okay to feel that way. However, I will continue with my plans, travels, job, and life, not changing myself for anyone or allowing anyone to take control of my life. The best defeat tactic to the narcopath thus far. And to you, Ollie, bless your heart for doing this and helping people all over the world through your voice and videos from survivors all over the world. Let me know on your comments and advice on my situation. I wish you have good health and a blessed life. Much love, Allie. Well, thank you very much, Allie. But I think I kind of made clear the why of your situation. You can't make the narcissist love you, and you need to stop trying to help the narcissist. This happened because he gets off on hurting you. He wants to see you cry. I think I broke that down pretty clearly for you. It's a pattern of abuse. It's the control. All of that was for those breakup moments when you're crying and he's coming at you. It was all for that moment. And you trying to make him see you love him and see is doing the opposite. Is feeding his supply even worse. Never get involved with the constant texting and blocking and the apps and break up here. You're broken up, you're not broken up. You're broken up, you're not. That's high school stuff. And you're better than that. So thank you for your contribution. I appreciate anything. So you never have to apologize for being embarrassed on a contribution amount. Please don't. I appreciate it. And thank you for your story. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a narcissist you'd like to expose or a topic you'd like me to cover, you know what to do with the PayPal and my email links in the description box. I'll have the video right back to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon. Bye.